So first, let's talk about the MVP race. I feel like this year has to be like one of the craziest MVP race years in a while, because there's no like clear cut MVP. You know, there's someone you can make an argument for like at least 4 people right now to be MVP, which is like crazy.
Who's your fourth guy? I only think it's 3 people. So who's your fourth guy?
Well, yeah.
If it's who I think it is, this is gonna be a really interesting episode.
There are 3, and then there's like 2 others that are kind of like on the border.
I think there's 3 guys, and I think there's 1 guy that's like, I think depending on how the last 5 games of the season goes, he may enter. But I don't think we're thinking of the same guy.
It's crazy because every week there's a new, or every week one of the 3 like takes the lead in the MVP race, and people start like leaning on him a little more, and then another week it's like it could be Embiid. Like one week everyone's like, oh yeah, he's for sure winning MVP, and then another week it's gonna be Giannis. It's just like it's such a close race right now. It's like it really depends on like these last 5 games.
Yeah,
I think Embiid has kind of like fallen. Like I think he's like 3rd right now because the Sixers have lost 3 in a row. Even though he hasn't played bad in those games, I think that's something that they're gonna hold against him. Jokic, and Giannis on the other hand their teams have been playing well. I think for Giannis, the only reason why like he's maybe not number 1 in people's books is voter fatigue. Like he's been playing great all season. It's just like people don't notice it because it's just what Giannis does, you know? And you could say the same thing for Jokic, but I feel like Giannis, he plays so well like every night. He's been averaging 30 this season. He's in the top 3 in the scoring race, and his team always manages to like end up top 3 in the East. So that's also another factor.
I think there's still an argument for Embiid. I don't think I think they lost 3 straight. I think they won against Charlotte the other day. I think Jokic and then Giannis are like 1A, 1B. I think you could change them right now. But I think that's mainly because like, well, Giannis had the game against Brooklyn, and everybody's like, oh, Giannis is the MVP because he went kind of nuts. And then he also had the game against Philly where he blocked Embiid's game winner. And it's like you said, like this is kind of just what Giannis does. We've come to expect it. It's like a LeBron level of like production where like every year he's going to give us like 28, 7, and like 6. And we're just like, oh, hey, there's Giannis. He's probably in the MVP race. But I mean, his team's a top 3 seed, so he probably could be MVP. Like, I really think it's up to like what are you valuing this year? Is it like the sustained brilliance of how Giannis has been for like the past like 3 years now? Or do you want Embiid to win it because he had such a But then like also it's a very narrative driven thing. Like Embiid got a top 15 guy in the middle of the season, and like nobody else got that. And then like at the same time as he got Harden, then like Jokic had like this string of games where he's been playing well the entire season. He's had maybe like 2 bad games. Like we can definitively say like, oh, Jokic didn't play well that game. Like he's playing with like Will Barton and Jeff Green, like
and Aaron Gordon.
For like 35 minutes a night. It's a weird looking roster. And there's no Jamal Murray. MPJ went out beginning of the season. For me, it's still Jokic. But I think that's mainly going to depend on where their seeding ends. Because right now they're in the 5th seed. I think that's kind of a hard sell. I think if they win, if they get up to the 4th seed, then I think Jokic is my MVP.
Yeah, and he's doing like you said, he's doing this without Jamal Murray or MPJ, and the fact that they are the 5th seed that's a great seed for them.
Yeah,
I feel like because they're not playing in the play-in either, which is great.
Yeah, and I mean, I would prefer for them to play Utah than for them to play Dallas, though.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a first round exit wouldn't help his MVP case. But anyway, and like you were saying, you keep going.
Well, how would he play the Jazz? They would have to they would have to go to the third.
If what's it called? Yeah, if they win the rest of their game, well, Golden State's sitting everybody tomorrow or today, I think they're probably going to sit Clay for the rest of the season. I think Golden State clinched their spot. I think they're just trying to have it in a way where they play. I think everybody's trying to play Utah, which isn't like a slight against Utah, but I mean it kind of is.
Utah is the Atlanta Falcons of the NBA, bro. They be blowing leads every night.
Oh my goodness! I want to know who your fourth guy is for MVP.
All right, my fourth guy is Devin Booker.
Oh dear! Oh my!
Devin Booker has carried the Suns without Chris Paul. I mean, I know Chris Paul's back now. He's carried the Suns without Chris Paul to a 62-15 record. You know, bro, that's 7.5 games above the second seed. They're the definitive best team in the league right now. The most complete team in the league because of D-Book.
Okay. Enes, I like D-Book. I think D-Book is a second-team All-NBAer this season. I think D-Book should have been on All-NBA last year. I think he should have been an All-Star starter last year. But for us to put him above Luka, or for us to put him in front of like Tatum, is kind of a wild take. Like, Phoenix is by far like anytime you watch a Phoenix game, like they have the most depth out of anybody in the league. Like, there was a 5-game stretch where like Booker had COVID and like Cam Johnson scored 38 points on the Knicks. I was like, what? What's going on here? What's going on here? Like, is that Cam Johnson or is that Devin Booker? I think Devin Booker is profiting off the fact that his team is so good. Like, Mikal Bridges on a different team is like a 20-point game scorer. Cam Johnson is one of the best shooters in the league. DeAndre Ayton's like an all-star on a different team. Like, this team is crazy, dog.
You know what I think this is? This is recency bias.
Why is this recency bias?
Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic have been playing amazing for like the last 2 weeks.
Luka's been playing amazing since like January.
Where were they in the beginning of the
about?
Season? Where were they in the beginning of the season?
Booker sucked in the beginning of the season too. What are you talking about?
He didn't suck.
Yeah, he did. He was averaging 22 till like January.
Jason Tatum was only started to heat up after the All-Star break.
That's like 2 months now. But Luka's been playing well since like the new year. Dallas has been the best team since the new year. Them and Boston. Okay, let's take a quick look, because Dallas and Boston are the two best teams since the new year. They have the best record. They have the best record since they're like. Yeah. They have the best record since the new year. Tatum had a really bad start to the season, as did Devin Booker, as did Fat Luka. Then Luka somehow lost 10 pounds while he got in. He like sprained his ankle because he was too fat.
He also got rid of Porzingis.
They also dropped Porzingis. Well, that was a couple weeks later, and then he had this game against like Toronto, like a pretty average Luka game where he had like 41, like 15 and 17. And then after that, it's kind of just been like he's averaging. Let's take a quick look. 28, 9, and 8, 8.6. So I mean, it'd be kind of hard for me to not put this guy in front of Devin Booker, as much as I like Devin Booker.
But I'm saying that I don't think Devin Booker had as bad of a first half of the season as the other two guys.
I mean, I kind of do, but it's not like he wasn't blowing anybody away. Like, he didn't score 40 points till February. Like, he didn't even break 40 points. And I see the argument. Like, he's just went crazy these past like 2 months. He just went insane. But like, I don't think that we can give like this is like when Steve Nash won MVP, but like on like a different scale, because like this team is better than like Steve Nash's team. I mean, I think it's weird that we're giving this guy like, because he's not going to win over Giannis, he's not going to win over Jokic, and he wouldn't win over Embiid.
I don't think anyone's winning over the top three.
Yeah, I just think like I don't think we should give him like the award for like, oh, you were like the fourth best guy, when he wasn't even like the fourth best guy. I mean, like, I think there's a world like where Devin Booker can win an MVP. I don't think that's like out of the possibility, but I think that's probably when Chris Paul is not there. I don't think people are gonna swallow the fact that Devin Booker would carry this like a Suns team, because he wasn't like that Suns team. They had a couple bad losses when Chris Paul was out, and Booker was out for a couple of those games. But he had a bit of a turnaround and started playing really well. But
yeah, I mean, I could see like Jason Tatum, because him and Jaylen Brown have been playing like great, and they, like you said, they have like the best record since the All-Star break. Like, they've just completely climbed the Eastern Conference rankings. Like, they weren't even a top like 8, or they weren't even like a top 6 seed.
No, there was talk of them like falling out of the play-in. That's how bad they were playing.
And now they're the 2 seed in the East. So,
I mean, part of it is just like they kind of got it together. Like we were all kind of trashing Udoka like at the beginning of the season because none of what he was doing made sense, and like it looked like a very different Celtics team than what we were used to. But they kind of put it together. They started using like their defense finally started working. Marcus Smart is my defensive player of the year. I know it's kind of like but I think he is defensive player of the year. Tatum is playing both sides of the ball. So is Jaylen Brown. Even though Time Lord's out right now, he should be back for the first round of the playoffs. Derek White was a really good midseason pickup.
Oh yeah, he's good.
There's just they look like they're a scary team, man. Like I would not, even if like I think they're better than Miami. I think they can beat Philly. I don't think there's a team in the top 6 that Boston can't beat right now.